What's happening, everyone, and welcome to the club. Now, before we get stuck into this clip, I need to let you know that we are partnered with Super 6. Super 6 is a fantastic app. Make sure that you head over to the App Store and download it. It is truly, truly brilliant. It won't cost you a penny, and you could win £250,000. Me, Adam, Buvey, we've set up our own league, and if you finish top of our league in every round of fixtures, we will be giving a free classic football shirts voucher where you can spend up to £100 totally for free. You do not have to spend one penny to play this game. It is truly brilliant. We're loving it, and we are so grateful to Super 6 for partnering with us on the club. Hope you enjoy the clip. You're watching a clip from the Club podcast.
Make sure you follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give it a 5-star review.
So here you go, is a lovely clip from our podcast. I don't really want to talk about this, to be honest, so I'll let you boys kick it off. We're here to talk about a top 4 race again somehow. We're still here.
I think Manchester United are going to make a pig's ear of it, if that's what you don't want to talk about, because I'm very happy to take this one on. I think, weirdly as well, if they don't make it from here,
it's a disaster.
It's a disaster. And I don't look. I've been incredibly complimentary about Erik ten Hag. Maybe too complimentary. You know, there were times when I was saying he was a contender for manager of the season. There was a time when I would say the sentence that he just got everything right. Whatever was put in front of him, he got it right. This is not acceptable. What's going on at the moment, and the way that they're losing games. Not only that they're losing games, but they gave that, like Luke Shaw in the last minute at home. Just giving it away.
Penalty.
And then David De Gea doing the same thing. Like, you think this is bottling. If this was Arsenal doing that, everybody would be saying it's bottling. I think Manchester United are going to have enough just to get them over the line.
At this stage, we have to match what Liverpool do to guarantee we finish above them.
I think they're going to win every game.
Liverpool have 3 games.
I think Liverpool win every game.
Yep.
Villa at home, Southampton away.
Yeah, they win 3.
Southampton are down, that's an easy win. Leicester are fighting, and it's a Monday night. That kind of makes it a bit trickier, but you'd imagine...
Is it Anfield?
King Power.
Okay.
So you'd imagine Liverpool will probably hit them on the counter and get a 2-0 win.
Yeah.
And they've been grinding the 1-0s out as well, which is good for them.
Mate.
Villa at home, for them is obviously probably the most difficult game out of those 3, but Villa's season's over.
That draw that Villa had, was it at Wolves?
Lost at Wolves.
And you just think that was
United's fixtures, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home, Fulham at home. So if you're saying Liverpool are going to win all 3 of their games, at the minimum, Liverpool gets 7 points.
Yeah.
United have to get 7 or 9 points out of those 4 games.
Yeah, which I think you can do, but I also think you can't. Like, there's also a world where you don't. And the thing now, which is going to be a fascinating conversation, as we've said, we've always been very complimentary about Ten Hag. But imagine this scenario. Manchester United finish 5th and get beat in the cup final by City, which means Manchester United at the end of the season finish with a League Cup and Europa League football. Like, all of a sudden, look, I know context is very important, and we can look across the season and say that there's been vast improvements. But you're looking at social levels again, aren't you? Like, 5th and the League Cup is not what Erik ten Hag and the Revolution was supposed to be. 5th and the League Cup is not what Manchester United was supposed to be. When in January, you know, they were definitely within...
I think the time frame probably wrong. I think about a month or 6 weeks ago, we were like 11, 12 points clear at Liverpool. That draw at Spurs from a 2-0 winning position.
And do you know what else it does, though? That
draw
fact,
at home against
that
Southampton.
Fact also alerts us to the fact of Liverpool. Like, they've really turned it around. Because I remember when Chelsea played Liverpool, do you remember we had that Baldy in charge? Forget the geezer's name now. Bruno, right? He was in one game, right? You know, if Chelsea had won that day, I think we would have gone within a point of Liverpool. Look at the difference. Like when Chelsea and Liverpool had that draw, Chelsea and Liverpool at that point were basically neck and neck.
Could argue as well, they haven't even been in huge, massive form. Like the win over Spurs, they went 3-0 up. You know, last minute passed in by Mora.
That's a huge
1-0 wins over Brentford and who was the other one? But it's huge. To win 1-0 is massive. Yeah,
especially at this stage of the season.
Was it Fulham when they got the penalty? Yeah. So obviously it's becoming a thing now. I'm not going to pretend I'm not worried about it anymore. About 2 weeks ago, I think I did a video saying I'm not worried. We'll get the points that we should get. But obviously now it's becoming difficult. If, let's say, for example, you draw against Wolves, now you have to win every single game to the end of the season. You know what? Chelsea will be difficult at home.
Chelsea's going to be an interesting one, you know, like Chelsea against City. I think City are just too good for Chelsea, so I don't think there's any real jeopardy for City in that one. Chelsea against United, Frank Lampard, I think, would love to get something over on United.
We're just not scoring goals as well.
Well, that's because you've got Wouty Weghorst up front, and I'm afraid, is managerial. Like,
it's not.
It is managerial. Of course, it is.
It's not.
Listen, Adam, there was a time, right, when I think Buvey might have been a little bit negative on this front, but I certainly said the way that Ten Hag handled the Ronaldo situation was correct, and I think we agree on that, right?
Yeah,
he got it correct. He got it correct. However, one part of getting that overall, the whole Ronaldo debate is an entire thing, right? To get it right, like non-negotiably correct, not only does it mean getting him out the club at the right time, but it's replacing him. And you've replaced him.
He's got no choice for a replacement.
You've replaced him with
And
Wouty.
I think the overall, look, I still think it was the correct decision, and I think the pros outweigh the cons on that. That's obviously a con, you lose a goal scorer. But when he wasn't playing every game, he's not happy. That causes issues in the dressing room. You probably don't get 30 goals out of Rashford. You probably don't get...
Potentially. But when we say that he handled it correctly, and at the time I was saying he handled it correctly because Rashford was scoring goals for fun. What's he got lately? 5? Something like...
I think he scored 1 in the last 5 or something.
Right. So to say that he handled it correctly is such a definitive statement. Correct. The intimation there is that he handled it correctly and the whole thing was done perfectly. If it transpires that allowing him to leave and bringing in...
And we were like, they never got top 4, so it's the wrong decision.
It was the wrong decision.
It's not. It wasn't.
Well, it was because they didn't get top 4 that year. With Aubameyang's goals, they might have got top 4.
Yeah,
if they replaced him correctly.
Overall, it's a net positive.
Well, not if... Okay, but that means you have to tolerate 5th and a League Cup as a season.
I'm hoping that don't happen. But...
It could happen, though. Your form is
it could happen. Our form's poor, and we're not scoring goals.
But I think the
only thing that helps is our home form's good. Sorry to cut you off.
No. I think the Wouty Weghorst stuff is a narrative that people get sucked into the transfer policy of Man United. You spent a lot of money, and if I'm a Man United fan looking at West Ham performance, your spine is not performing. The spine from the goalkeeper all the way through Man United are not performing to the levels that you deserve to expect. The keeper, he's on 450 grand a week.
He's not on 450, but he's on a lot of money.
He was on 400
he shouldn't still be our number one. And as much as I love him, he still shouldn't be there.
But where's the criticism? I think other fans give too much leeway to the transfer strategy at Man United. Ultimately, Man United players, the 11 should have beaten West Ham. West Ham are there for the beating.
Mate, West Ham as well, like Moyes. It's Moyes.
Look at the goal we conceded. Yeah. Jesus. Look at the goal we conceded in the last 2 games.
You're dipping out of form.
Which kind of makes me feel as well like...
un-Manchester United-like way. Like Manchester United, historically at least, now's when they're hitting form.
You know what I think?
Going into a cup final.
After winning the cup and being so far ahead, they've switched off.
That Newcastle performance in the league.
No, but I think they've switched off. They've gone top 4's done.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh shit, Liverpool.
But we've seen it time and time again, haven't we?
Switch it back on again.
But doesn't that worry you? We've seen it time and time again. But this group of players, with Solskjaer, with Rangnick, Roy Keane's made those comments. It's the same bunch of players throwing the players on.
Can you imagine if they end up as
everything
going on at Manchester United, the sale, the potential Radcliffe sale, the potential Qatari bid, whatever. I'm sure that would all be done on the prerequisite of top 4. So you know the number that's being floated around?
I don't think I think it'll impact it a little bit, but I don't, because ultimately you're buying Manchester United, aren't you?
Yeah, but the definition of Manchester United, I'm afraid, is evolving.
It probably helps the buyer in terms of negotiating standpoint and that. But
what it does though, it makes the Glazers hanging about more likely, because the Glazers want the same price regardless, and the buyers go, hang on a minute, you're not even in the European Cup.
I think it's been shrewd of them to get most of the offers in before that is even confirmed.
Maybe.
Which kind of helps them.
Do you think you're going to make
that helps us,
ultimately, do you think you're going to be in the top 4? I think
what helps us is our games come before Liverpool. Or at the same time.
So you put pressure on them effectively.
So, for example, this weekend, let's say they had Leicester and then we played
they put pressure on you.
Wolves on Monday night. I'd be worried about that because they go ahead of us, then we draw, they're still ahead of us on goal difference. Our goal difference is really bad as well. Missing chances has not helped. It shows you how huge a striker could be, but we have to wrap this up.
Cards on the table. Liverpool, Manchester United in the top 4.
Liverpool.
Cards on the table.
I think we do it.
You think you limp into it?
I think we beat Wolves 1-0.
Here, I'll give you a conundrum.
Yeah.
Manchester United, you obviously want them to drop out of it, right?
Of course.
So I'll let you have them out of it.
Yeah.
You win the European Cup, but you have to give them the FA Cup.
No, never. never. No.
Fair.
But I could see that one coming. But no, never. Don't want to lose to them in the FA Cup final. But ultimately, it's embarrassing nonetheless. Man United should be absolutely chomping at the bit to even come third. Fighting for second. That kind of going up, aiming big.
I think third or fourth.
Limping to fourth is so
but fifth
poor.
will be a very painful.
If you don't come fourth, it sets you back 3 or 4 years in terms of winning the Premier League.
Years, but it
definitely does. It's another season in the Europa League, bro.
And that means you can't challenge for the league next season as well.
Liverpool are close to winning the league regardless what happens in the top 4 race in you next season.
If we finish in the Champions League now,
They got a spine knowing how to do it, bro.
They haven't though. That's
they do.
We're calling Van Dijk part of that spine.
Yeah, he was. He literally was. He lifted the Premier League.
But anyway,